Hello everyone, my name is Mike Smith for Expansive DLC, and today I'm talking about Destiny. Now, Destiny is the latest first-person shooter from Bungie, not only the people who brought us the Halo franchise, but the people probably responsible for revolutionising the first-person shooter on console, paving the way for successful titles like Call of Duty. So it's understandable that Destiny has a fair amount of hype behind it, but what exactly is Destiny? Well, until very recently, it was difficult to get a straight answer out of Bungie, but after playing the beta recently, it's probably best described as a strong mixture of the multiplayer shooter PlanetSide and the familiar Halo franchise. You play as a Guardian, brought back to life by a small robot known as a ghost. It appears these ghosts travel across the planet searching for potential guardians amongst the ruined cities and piles of corpses, and when they find one they like, they simply break every natural law known to mankind and raise the dead. So once again, we're basically playing a game with zombies in it. You're then reliably informed that an artifact known as the Traveller, which is kind of a big dome thing, was brought back to Earth when humans first discovered it on Mars centuries before, seemingly portraying humans as grubby little magpies whose first instinct when faced with advanced technology is to try and take it home. Anyway, the Traveller is protecting the last city of mankind. It, and therefore humans too, are being hunted by a force known as the Darkness. Now the Darkness takes the form of the Fallen, alien warriors set about putting down all humans. So, with the grand mission in front of you and a basic understanding of the gravity of the situation, you set off in Destiny. But to do what exactly? So Destiny is split up into various mission types. You have your standard grandiose cutscene heavy story missions, which are actually pretty good by the way. Your free roaming exploratory missions where you can collect side quests and earn bits of experience. And your strike missions, where you and a fire team of 2 other players can complete a series of objectives. A slightly bigger campaign mission, if you will. You've also got the Crucible, but I'll get more into the PvP aspect of it shortly. Now, I'll openly admit that I wasn't that fussed about Destiny when I first heard about it. I'd seen a couple of rolling demos at press events, and nothing had made me think, must buy. That wasn't until I actually played it. Now, the hype isn't exactly spot on with Destiny, but it's currently as enjoyable a shooter as Halo was for me. Now granted, I am a pretty big fan of the first few Halo games, but beside that, the games seem to handle very well. Gunplay in Destiny, though a little limited at the minute, is very enjoyable. Weapons feel like they have the weight to them that many shooters miss, and each class in the game, Titan, Hunter and Warlock, each have their own special abilities and melee attacks. And whilst not exactly a revolutionary experience playing as all of the characters, and whilst every character can be proficient with every weapon, it gives a fire team a nice dynamic if it's made up of different classes. So it's an MMO, right? Well, yeah, it's a constantly online first-person massively multiplayer shooter. If that's what you've been wanting out of Destiny, then you're in for a treat come September 9th. I've heard a lot of people compare Destiny to Borderlands, but considering when it first came out, Borderlands was heavily compared to the loot-grabbing grandfather Diablo, I'm not quite sure how far you want to take that comparison. Yes, it's a shooter with loot in it, and that's pretty much where the similarities stop. So how does the multiplayer handle? What is the Crucible? Well, personally, it feels like a slightly more interesting and equally infuriating version of Halo's multiplayer, which I'm sure any Halo fans out there will agree isn't a bad thing. On a slight aside, speaking of Halo, I honestly think that Destiny will benefit from the monumental letdown that was Halo 4. After Bungie left the Halo franchise with 343 Industries, everybody was curious about how the latest Halo game would handle, and personally, it was a bitter disappointment. So Bungie will most likely draw a lot of fans who were looking for that Halo itch but couldn't quite get it from the last Halo game. Another fun feature of Destiny is the world events. Now, I've played a lot of MMOs in my time, and the term world events to me normally summon up images of being stood in a certain position of a certain map at a certain time, predetermined and announced on the game's forums and message boards. None of that seemed to apply with Destiny. Running through a seemingly random area on my way to another mission was cut short by the sky going completely dark and a notification popping up saying that a world event was beginning. There was such a nice feeling of joined camaraderie when you go from being a single person or a group of 3 walking through the world to a part of a band of 15 to 20 brothers and sisters in arms, all battling the same enemies for the same reasons. So that's pretty much my rundown of Destiny. It's a very enjoyable shooter that does remind me of Halo for all the right reasons. The full game is scheduled for release on September 9th. Thank you very much for watching everybody. I have been Mike Smith, and this is Expansive DLC, where you can expand your gaming horizons.